One shot, $100.
It's a huge barrier I think the government has put in place here.
Why Albertans have to pay to get a COVID vaccine. Tough times in retail.
They have a hard time buying because first they have to think about their regular life.
A dire outlook for small businesses. And a one-of-a-kind student.
So as the only undergrad student to win the award, I was very humbled, very grateful for that.
The young Albertan who had her pick of 7 different medical schools.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Ian White.
Good afternoon. Alberta will have a 2-part rollout for COVID vaccines this fall. Most residents will have to pay a $100 fee if they want the shot. Mark Villani is live in Northwest Calgary. And Mark, walk us through the details and what this means for Albertans.
Well, Ian, starting in October, Alberta will begin phase 1 of its COVID-19 vaccine rollouts at public health centers only. That's excluding all pharmacies. Now, in this phase, vulnerable Albertans, including those with underlying health conditions as well as healthcare workers, will be able to access this shot for free. In phase 2, estimated on October 20th, everybody else in the province will have to pay that $100 per dose charge. Now, Health Minister Adriana LaGrange says Alberta is charging this administrative fee to save costs, all while striking a balance between protecting vulnerable Albertans and preventing vaccine wastage. Alberta NDP leader Naheed Nenshi slammed that decision today. He called it wrong and unfair, saying all Albertans deserve the same free access to COVID vaccines as other Canadians. The Alberta Federation of Labour also chiming in today, saying it's shameful that other provinces like British Columbia will vaccinate Albertans or any other Canadian resident living outside their province free of charge. It's a debate that's heating up for those for and against this new policy.
It's a huge barrier I think the government has put in place here, making people pay for this. And we know for sure over the age of 65 that it significantly reduces your risk of hospitalization.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want to take a COVID shot anyway, so I mean, I don't know if somebody really wants to take it and pay for it. I guess that's the way it is, but I think the shot was ridiculous.
Now, Ian, I contacted every single province and territory today to get their vaccine protocols. Here's what we can tell you. We can tell you that Manitoba will offer free COVID shots for Albertans. There might be a small administrative fee in some cases. Saskatchewan will also vaccinate only Albertans that are living in Lloydminster, Alberta right now. We'll keep you updated if any other provinces get back to us as well. Ian.
Mark, thanks very much. The federal government is dropping some retaliatory tariffs on American products to match U.S. tariff exemptions for goods covered under the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement.
Canada and the United States have reestablished free trade for the vast majority of our goods. Canada will retain our tariffs on steel, aluminum, and autos as we work intensively with the United States to resolve the issues there. Indeed, our focus is squarely on these strategic sectors and the future.
Prime Minister Carney says the decision will take effect September 1st. And that decision could provide some much-needed help for small businesses. Before Carney's announcement today, the Canadian Federation of Independent Business said 1 in 5 small businesses have 6 months until they would have to shut down. The Federation says the retaliatory tariffs were the second most damaging measure after steel and aluminum tariffs. Meanwhile, StatsCan estimates retail sales dropped 0.8% last month. Some small businesses in Inglewood say they are struggling.
They have a hard time buying because first they have to think about their regular life, even price of food being so high.
I do think the tariffs have affected it and probably lost me some sales where people were worried about what was going to happen with bigger ticket items.
They also say all the rain lately has held people back from walking around the area, leading to a sales decline. The popular online gaming platform Roblox is facing scrutiny and a string of lawsuits over concerns it's not doing enough to protect kids. The sentiments are echoed by a Calgary teenager who says she and her friends have been targeted on the site. The state of Louisiana is suing the developers of Roblox, which boasts more than 111 million monthly users, for allegedly creating an environment that allows sexual predators to victimize kids. A 17-year-old girl says older adult online users have made sexual comments and pressured her to take drugs. She says when she reported it to Roblox, nothing happened. CTV News is not identifying her because users have shared her picture and name online. She's received thousands of hateful messages.
When I joined when I was like 8, obviously being young and impressionable, people would always approach you trying to get you to talk and stuff like that. And then as I got older, I kind of grew out of it. I'm that's really weird. It's really iffy that older people are talking to young 10-year-olds. Usually you'll go in and they're instantly there just trying to talk to you and stuff like that.
Roblox did not respond to our request for comment, but has disputed allegations made in the Louisiana lawsuit. In a statement on its website, it says the assertion that Roblox would intentionally put our users at risk of exploitation is categorically untrue, adding it continuously works to block the efforts of bad actors. A man who police say crashed a stolen SUV and then took off running with a broken leg was 5 blocks away before officers nabbed him. Not only is the stolen Toyota RAV4 heavily damaged, but the parked vehicle it plowed into is likely a write-off, according to its owner. It happened Thursday night just after 8 as first responders were called to the 4800 block of Niven Road, Northwest. Air and canine support were called in to find the suspect, who was arrested and faces charges. Bob Critch says this is the second time in over a year his vehicle has been hit in almost the same spot.
Well, I was at home and I got a phone call and this lady tells me, she says, "You better come downstairs, Bob." She says, "Somebody after hitting your car." So I said, "Of course, I'll be down in a couple of minutes." I come down and this is what I look into.
Fortunately, no innocent bystanders were injured in the incident. Radium Park Lodge was the scene of a fire early this morning. Local officials say everyone escaped. Paramedics took one person to Invermere Hospital as a precaution. A reception center to help displaced guests and residents is at the Radium Hot Springs Center. Firefighters from the Regional District of East Kootenay, Columbia Valley, and Invermere assisted the Radium Department. The cause is under investigation. Premier Danielle Smith has toured some of the areas hit hardest by Wednesday's severe storm in her Brooks Medicine Hat riding. Smith posted photos of herself meeting residents, first responders, and utility crews. She gives special thanks to AltaLink, Fortis, and Arrow crews for restoring power. Intense hail and wind caused widespread damage. The powerful storm snapped power lines, battered homes, and killed a pony and camel at a Brooks area farm. That was quite a storm, but fortunately, we don't have to worry about hail or rain or really anything inclement this week.
Yeah, for the unfortunate cleanup, that's going to be ongoing. But for everybody else, it's sunshine, it's stable, and this is a very long stretch of it. This really lasts through the rest of this week and most of next week because of a big, strong ridge of high pressure. 20 degrees is the temperature. No, it's not warm just yet. In fact, all of southern Alberta's mainly in those lower 20s at this point. But we will start to climb a little bit each day, and it will get hot, especially by next week. Okay, your 24-hour forecast brought to you by Fifth Avenue Volkswagen, where you can win your ride. See dealer for details or visit fifthavvw.com. And as you can see, the sunshine continues. A little bit of a cooler start to the day at 10 degrees at 8 a.m., but getting up to a high of 24. Your full forecast is just ahead, Ian.
Thank you, Danielle. She's only 19 and she already has a bachelor's degree. Still ahead, the Alberta student who was accepted into 7 medical schools but chose to study in Calgary. And a boost in funding for a wolf dog sanctuary in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. Also, if you have a news tip, text us at 10-400. Calgary is building more new homes than any city in the country. In the first half of this year, Calgary recorded the highest number of housing starts among all Canadian municipalities. By contrast, Toronto's housing starts are down 62%. This is the first time Calgary has surpassed 10,000 starts in the first half of the year. While some experts say more homes need to be built to address Canada's housing crisis, others say increasing supply alone isn't enough.
A lot of people are going about and buying, suburban homes, low-rise homes that were traditionally owner-occupied, and just using them as an investment property. So we have to make that process less lucrative, and it has been less lucrative by coincidence lately.
He says added taxes on secondary properties or capital gains tax and increased requirements on down payments could slow investors from buying multiple homes. A facility near Cochrane that rescues wolf dogs is getting a boost from the Alberta government. Arts, Culture and Status of Women Minister Tanya Furr announced $125,000 in funding today for the Yamnuska Wolf Dog Sanctuary. The funds will help pay for a new day use and sheltered interpretation area. The sanctuary currently cares for 71 wolf dogs. Its executive director says they're at capacity and they'll have to expand.
A lot of the wolf dogs that come here, they're going to live out their entire lives here. So in order for us to keep rescuing more wolf dogs and kind of keep that capacity in place, we do need to build additional wolf dog enclosures.
Under the same community enhancement program, the province gave money to upgrade the Performing Arts Centre in Camrose, among other projects. A special flag-raising ceremony at City Hall marks the beginning of Calgary Pride festivities in the city. The ceremony, hosted by Calgary Pride and its Indigenous partners, kicks off more than a week's worth of events celebrating the LGBTQ community. The Pride Parade will be held downtown on Sunday, August 31st, and the Pride Festival will be held on the 30th and 31st at Prince's Island Park. Calgary Pride says the annual celebration is also meant to be a voice for those who can't be seen and heard.
We want to be visible, mostly for the people who can't be visible. For anybody who feels unsafe for whatever reason to be out and to be proud, those of us who are in positions to be out and proud have to take that stance.
This year's Calgary Pride theme is bursting into bloom to flourish together and embrace the struggles Calgary's Pride community continues to face. Just looking at the picture there, nothing but blue sky. And nothing but blue sky all weekend, right?
All weekend.
Wow.
And the entire work week next week, pretty much.
Wow.
And heat. Oh boy, are we going to get some heat. A long stretch of heat. If you don't have air conditioning, it might be a little toasty for you inside your house. Okay, here's your Skywatch weather camera, and yes, look, this is a more interesting one. You can see the sun, the bright sun. The UV index is high today. For the weekend, we're looking at very high, and for next week, very high for all of southern Alberta. So we're not warm. We're warm now, but we're not hot yet. We're all in those low 20s pretty much for all of southern Alberta. But yes, temperatures will be climbing. So when you look at BC, you look at Alberta, and then you look off into Saskatchewan, it's pretty quiet, and that's because this ridge is building in. So it's even helped to push that system that you see off into Manitoba by this point, and just mainly cloud cover in Saskatchewan. So here you go. Here's that ridge, and it's going to just keep moving on over, keep strengthening. And just much like in your car, when the doors are shut, it's sunny out, it gets hotter and hotter. That's basically how things build under this. It's like a dome, and that's why we'll notice some very hot temperatures, especially by next week, but it will be quite toasty even by the weekend in most communities. Okay, so I'm going to play through the future cast, and I will say that this plays through Friday, the rest of today, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Nothing to really talk about. This is actually one of the most uneventful forecasts I've done in a very long time. Okay, 24 degrees for tomorrow. A whole lot of sunshine. The sunshine continues, as you can see, through much of next week. 26, so mid-20s by Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're in those higher 20s. So I'm going to show you the 10-day trend here to give you that indication. Normal daytime high is 22 degrees for this time of year. We'll be just a little above that for tomorrow. We'll be decently above that for Sunday, and for the entire work week next week, daytime highs will at least be in those high 20s. This ridge of high pressure will start to move on out by the time we get into next weekend. So as you can see, it's a long stretch of dry weather. We haven't seen much of this for the summer because we've had so much rain. So lots of sunshine, and temperatures will get quite toasty, especially by next week. Ian.
A 19-year-old student at the U of C's Cummings School of Medicine is impressing a lot of people. Ori Maxwell is the youngest of 180 students enrolled in the 3-year course. She completed her undergraduate degree in just 3 years at Queen's University. She was accepted to medical schools at 7 Canadian universities. Maxwell chose Calgary because she likes the program, and it's close to her home in Grand Prairie. Her extracurricular work at Queen's likely impressed all the schools.
So I received the Agnes Benedictson Tricolor Award, which is the highest and most distinguishable award given to any student at Queen's. So as the only undergrad student to win the award, I was very humbled, very grateful for that.
Maxwell is part of the largest class of medical students the U of C has ever hosted. If all goes well, she will graduate in 2028, and I'm sure she has a wonderful future in front of her. Well, the Stampede is long behind us, but one southern Alberta community is hosting its big summer festival right now. Still to come, Tabor's Cornfest celebrates 40 years of free family fun. As we mentioned earlier, Prime Minister Carney has decided to remove some tariffs on U.S. goods. Joining me is Faisal Karmali, Portfolio Manager with the Popowich Karmali Advisory Group. So, Faisal, how did the markets close out the week?
Yeah, a nice little rally for today, closing the TSX and the Dow Jones both up 1.5%. It was Federal Reserve Chair who came out and said potentially an interest rate cut as early as September, gave a nice little wind behind the backs of both the TSX and the Dow Jones.
So what are the impacts to Canada with these counter tariffs being removed?
Yeah, when you look economically first, you see how the tariffs have really had no impact or very little impact to inflation here in Canada. And it doesn't really give good relations between us and the United States. Taking it off does not have any major impact, but it does help. And that help is we're now going into negotiations fairly soon for the USMCA. We're now going into negotiations for the review of the tariffs between us and the United States. And so now comes the time that there might be some negotiation. I'm still not convinced it's a slam dunk deal and everything will stay fine, because all the other deals, the EU, China, Japan, and so forth, all have given some concessions. I'm interested to see what Canada will give as concessions to the U.S. government.
And finally, a multi-billion-dollar deal today in the oil patch.
Yeah, let's talk $7.9 billion takeover of MEG Energy from Cenovus. Now, this was expected by me back in May as one of the big candidates, not Strathcona Resources, that made the first hostile bid for $6 billion. Cenovus comes in backdoor and makes an $8 billion purchase. Now, the market really liked this. Cenovus was up 7% on the deal. MEG Energy up 1%.
Thanks, Faisal. Have a great weekend.
You as well.
In Tabor, south of Calgary, the town's Cornfest is celebrating its 40th anniversary. The grounds and Midway opened last night after the Cornfest parade. Organizers say Cornfest is the largest free family fair in Western Canada. Other events throughout the weekend include the Bowl-orama, BMX show, and a corn eating contest. Organizers say the event is truly for the community.
I've remember going to Cornfest since I was a little kid in, middle school, elementary school, stuff like that. And it's just kind of been a staple of the area for as long as I can remember. So it's great to be able to really help and give back a bit to that, especially for a 40th anniversary.
And Cornfest runs until tomorrow. Another online gaming platform is in the spotlight for the wrong reasons. Here's Tara Nelson with a look ahead to CTV News at 6.
Hi, Ian. The developers of Roblox are facing lawsuits over child safety concerns. At 6, we'll hear from tech experts on whether the platforms could be doing more and what parents can do to protect their kids. Also ahead, more than 11,000 rugby fans are expected at McMahon Stadium tonight for a Canada-U.S. showdown. Our Glenn Campbell will have a live report. Ian.
Thanks very much, Tara. Rodeo fans are flocking to Lethbridge as the Lethbridge and District Pro Rodeo kicked off last night. Competitors from across Canada and the U.S. are trying to lock up spots for the Canadian Finals Rodeo. Over the course of 3 nights, fans can take in bull riding, steer wrestling, warrior relay races, and more. It is the second last week before the CFR in Edmonton. Since its return in 2022, this rodeo has become a staple event for Lethbridge's Whoop Up Days. We are heading into an extended stretch of hot, sunny weather. Right now in Calgary, it is mainly sunny and 20 degrees. Danielle has all the details just ahead. There's literally so much going on this weekend. We have Canada against the U.S. in rugby tonight.
Right.
We have the Stampeders playing tomorrow night. We have a Taste of Asia. So many other incredible events, and the weather really for it is ideal.
Yeah, so whether you're heading out to any of those things or a family barbecue, let's say, you know, have some corn.
Yep.
Go to the Cornfest even. Wherever you are in southern Alberta, you are getting sunshine for today. You're getting sunshine for the entire weekend and much of next week as well. This is here to stay. So take a breath, enjoy it. There's finally some summer weather for you before it quickly gets to fall. Okay, 20 degrees current temperature. Today's high, normal is 22. We're nowhere near record breaking now. But in the longer term, we're going to get close to that. Will we crack the 30-degree mark? Maybe not next week, but we're sure going to get close to it. 24 degrees for tomorrow, nothing but sun. Sunshine continues for that whole weekend, so mid-20s by Sunday. And then Monday through Friday of next week, we will be in those high 20s, and maybe 1 or 2 of those days we will crack that 30-degree mark. So get ready for a lot of summer heat that you haven't seen so far this summer. Ian?
Thanks, Danielle. Hundreds of Albertans are competing in all kinds of different sports in Leduc for the 55-plus provincial games. The games were started by Alberta 55-plus in 1980 to encourage healthy lifestyles for Albertans over 55. 31 events take place at the games, including cornhole, cycling, and tennis. 1,200 athletes are competing.
And our events are competitive and they're sports related, but they're also other events. So we have bridge and we have photography and we have swimming, track. So it kind of like gives all age abilities and mobility abilities to compete still.
And the games end on Sunday. Also, the forecast for the Edmonton area is good as well. Thank you for joining us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.